And good evening, everyone. Welcome to another exciting Saturday Night Wine Stream and another exciting episode of Drink with Rick. I'm Rick, and this is episode number 87 of Drink with Rick. And tonight we're going to be doing we're going to be opening up a different kind of wine. It's another red blend, but it's something I've never tried before, and I'm hoping that it will be pretty good. It was a recommendation, another recommendation from my friend Bennett over at Wine Store. Not Wine Store, excuse me, sorry, Bennett. I'm just saying Wine Store. At Sunset and Vine, that's the wine store in Blowing Rock, North Carolina. Whoa, I haven't even started yet, and I'm already making errors. Anyway, if you're joining me for the first time, this is Drink with Rick. This is a stream of consciousness kind of show. I do have some show notes. I don't always follow them, but I rely more on you to carry the show. The show is about the wine. It's not about me, but it's about the wine. It's really about you and me, both of us getting together on a Saturday night, kicking back and just having a nice glass of wine, just having a nice conversation, nice chat. You basically steer this show for the most part. So even though I have these show notes, I don't always adhere to them 100%. I really rely on you to carry the show somewhat. So join in. Tell me what you're drinking. Tell me what you're not drinking. Tell me what you'd like to be drinking. Tell me what you'd like to see me drinking. And if I can afford a bottle of it, I'll get a try. I'll see if I can drink it too. Anyway, you can watch live on Facebook. You can watch live on the Facebook page at Drink with Rick. You can watch live on YouTube. It's at Drink with Rick. Watch live on Twitch, and that is Drink with Rick 1. That's Drink with Rick, the number 1. We're live on Periscope through Twitter at the moment, so you can watch live on Twitter, which I just almost forgot to turn that on, didn't I? Unfortunately, tonight we're not actually live on the website. And normally we're live on the website at drinkwithrick.com. But we're not really live tonight because for some reason Facebook will not let me embed this live stream. I've been trying to do that before the show. Will not let me do it. I think I'm done with Facebook on trying to do the live embeds. I think I'm just going to rely on YouTube or some other platform to do it. I've had a lot of trouble with Facebook in the past on that. And to be honest, I've been having some trouble with Facebook lately with trying to even see the stream on my end to monitor it. Although everyone else says it's coming through loud and clear, I've just been having so much trouble with it, and I don't know. I'm just going to have to give up on that on Facebook carrying the live stream on my site. Next week, I'm probably going to start using YouTube or another alternate source to do that with. Sorry about the late start, folks, but that's basically what happened here. Anyway, so with all that out of the way, all the technical glitches and stuff out of the way, I also want to let you know that you can email me at drinkwithrick.com. You can email me your wine recommendations. Tell me what you'd like to see on the show. Tell me how I'm doing on the show. Tell me how we're doing on the show. Some things you like, something you don't like. I welcome the feedback, good or bad. I welcome the feedback. It's all good, really. So email me at rick@savoyamedia.com. That's rick at SAVOIAMEDIA.com. And I will respond in kind. So the podcast version of this show, Drink with Rick, goes out every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. That's 10 p.m. Eastern time. It goes out everywhere. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, your Android device, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, Deezer. Also, we are now, it's not showing up on the, it's not showing up the website here, but it is. If you go to the website, you can click on subscribe and you'll see it in the subscription. We are also now on on a couple of other platforms, which I think I'll add. I think I'll probably add those to the front end of the site too as I go along. One of those would be Amazon Music Podcast, so you can hear it on your Amazon Echo. So you just say the wake word. I'm not going to say it in case you have one nearby, but you say the wake word. Just play the latest episode of Drink with Rick, and she'll play the latest episode of Drink with Rick, or she should if she doesn't let me know. I have let's see. let me get back over here for just a moment. I have something else I was going to mention, and I was meant to mention it last week, and this is really more for the Twitch folks, but I do have something I want to just kind of throw up there a little bit and see what you think. Remind me towards the end of the show, and I'll see if I can remember to get into it tonight. I completely forgot about it last week, but it has to do with maybe doing a special Twitch thing with movies on it on another night during the week. So I'm interested to see what your thoughts are on that. We'll see. Well, we'll talk about it later on. Anyway, we're going to do some birthdays. We've got a lot of birthdays to toast. Hopefully, there's enough wine in this bottle to toast them all. We've got an anniversary to toast, a very interesting anniversary, which I just found out about this weekend, and I think that would be a lot of fun to learn a little bit more about and toast. And we've got the national days. I haven't actually pulled up the national days at nationaldaycalendar.com, but I'm going to do it right now. Our nationaldaycalendar.com, courtesy of the CEO of nationaldaycalendar.com, my good friend Marlo Anderson, which actually the new calendar is a 2021 version of the calendar for the National Day Calendar is available now for purchase in their limited supply. I'll see if we can give one away towards the end of the year. We'll see if we can do that. And I'll see what I've got left in my budget for giveaways during the year. As you know, I've been giving away a lot of stuff throughout the year, and my budget for that's kind of depleted. So I'll see what we can do. Anyway, today is, at this time, it's November 14th, so we've got some national days to cover. So anyway, without further ado, let me check the chats. Let me see what's going on here. Facebook's kind of quiet. Very first few minutes it is. Let's see, nothing going on really on YouTube. And let's see. Captain Swiss One is in the chat. Captain Swiss One says, "Hey Rick, have you ever tasted Don Saylor's hooch? If you haven't, I'll export it to you from Italy." Wow. No, I have not tried it. Wow, that would be great. Well, Captain Swiss One, that would be most appreciated. And I would promise I would give it a fair review. But no, I have not tasted it, to be honest. But that would be great. I love Italian. Italian beverages. I love Italian food, as you can tell. I've had quite a bit of Italian, quite a lot of that lately, and I'm not going to go into that, but I really need to get back on the elliptical and work off some of that, that's for sure. But yeah, and it's good to see you in chat, by the way, Captain Swiss One. Stick around, we're going to have some fun. There's something about the label on this wine. I'm going to get into that in just a minute. Let me just check the other chats just to see if we've got anything else going on in the chat in the moment. I thought I heard something pop up. I'm not sure where that was, but okay, looks like it's okay. Ed's in the chat. Ed's great to see you, and I think he's in the chat. Oh, don't see you on Facebook yet. Ed says I am on Facebook. I'm supposed to be on Facebook. I better be on Facebook. The live video is live on Facebook. If you don't see me on Facebook, let me know, or switch over to YouTube at Drink with Rick on YouTube. It looks like I'm on Facebook. It looks like I'm. It looks like everything is there. So I wonder if maybe something's not letting anybody see me on Facebook. I don't know. It's should be public. Can anybody else on Facebook? Can you see me on Facebook? I for some reason, yeah, I can't put anything up on my own site from Facebook right now. So I'm wondering if maybe could Facebook have me blocked? I don't know why. I don't do anything on Facebook except just talk to people. That's it. I don't do anything political. I don't do anything religious. We don't do that here. We don't talk about politics or religion or any of that stuff on this show. So, yeah, I'm looking at Facebook right now. I don't see anything going on at the moment. Let me see if I can type to you. And can you see me now? Let's see. And oh, that's interesting. That's really weird. I don't know what's going on there. I honestly don't know. Let me try it again. Let me see. I don't want to stop the show for this, but let's see. Let's see. That's if not, I might have to stop the show down and start it again. False start. How about that? I don't. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. So let me see if anybody else can see me. Anybody else can see me on Facebook? That's really weird. That is really weird. Really strange. Okay, let's see if I can see the. Well, I need to stop the show for this. This is really weird. Okay. No, I mean, I can see me. Unless it's just me that can see me and no one else can. I don't know about that. That's really strange. I don't know. I do know that I haven't been able to share the video tonight. That's very interesting. I don't know. All right, well, we got Twitch going on. That Square Guy's on Twitch, and he says, "Hi, Rick. Sorry I've missed the last couple of streams, and unfortunately we're out and about again right now, so we can't watch today either. But I wanted to let you know the book finally arrived. It only took 2 months." I'm glad it finally got there. I was getting pretty worried about it because it had been so long. That Square Guy says, "So I just wanted to pop in and thank you. I love the coasters and pin as well." Well, thank you. I really appreciate your watching, even if you can't stick around for tonight. But I really appreciate you being there to watch. Let's see. Not yet sentimentation yet. Okay, Ed says he can't see. He can't see me in the chat or on Facebook. Can't see me on Facebook. That's really weird. So, all right, let me try. All right, I'm going to stop the live video on Facebook now and see what's going on. I'm going to stop this down for just a moment and see what's going on and restart it on Facebook. It's kind of unusual for me to do that, but I'm going to restart it and see if we can see if everybody can see me at this point. So stand by, folks. A little technical glitch, not something that I usually encounter here. We're gonna, because I can't see myself either. So let's see. There's okay. Embed live video. See, it's not going to let me embed the live video. Public. That's good. So apparently that's what happened. Great. I think Facebook did a number on me here. All right, let's try it now. All right, let's see if everyone can see me on Facebook in just a few moments here. And it's going to take a moment for this to pop back up. Page. Okay. Let's see if everyone can see me now. That's a really weird glitch. Okay, can you see me on Facebook now? Apologize for that, folks. This is really weird. That's not something that normally I have an issue with Facebook, but for some reason it had it set up to just stream to only me, and it defaulted to that, and that's not something that I have it default to normally. I have it default to everybody to be seen public, and apparently that didn't work. It just defaulted. There were a few things that changed in this Facebook stream. I don't know what's going on here. Facebook, I'm getting pretty frustrated with Facebook these days, to be honest with you. Not real happy with Facebook on a lot of this technical stuff. They seem to change things around. I don't know. I'm not going to go into it now. Anyway, folks, if you're just joining me now from Facebook, sorry for the late start to the show. We had a couple of issues with the stream. Can everybody see me on Facebook now? Ed, can you see me on Facebook now? I've got a picture-in-picture going here, and this is weird. Okay. All right, where were we? There's the stream of consciousness thing going again. This kind of threw off the rhythm of the show, didn't it? So let me see if I can send Ed an invite here. Okay, good. Ed, it's not your fault. Apparently it was my fault. It shouldn't have been my fault, but it was my fault. I'll take the blame for it anyway. Facebook, when I started the stream here, Facebook defaulted to stream to only me. Normally I've had it set to stream publicly, and for some reason the default changed to only me. Now I haven't done anything to change that recently, but it defaulted to only me, so only I was seeing myself on Facebook. That would explain a few things. So hopefully now everybody can see me on Facebook. And see, I'm liking Twitch more and more because I usually don't have these kind of problems on Twitch. It just sort of, it's here. The thing is that they've got this picture-in-picture thing going, and there we go, and it's blocking everything else I'm doing here. All right, so anyway, that Square Guy says, I was really worried about it too. Well, I'm glad you got the book, by the way. And he says, I hope you have a good stream, and I'll endeavor to be here properly next week. I really appreciate it. Y'all have a great time. You can always catch it. You can always catch it on the rewind, too, or catch the podcast. So if you're just joining me on Facebook, which you probably are, should I restart this? I guess I'll restart it. We haven't really gotten into the wine yet, actually. But let's go ahead and get into the wine now. I don't know where else to start. It's kind of broke up the rhythm of this stream tonight. All right, well, this is what we're opening tonight. What we're opening tonight is something called Prayers for Sinners, or Prayers of Sinners, I should say. Prayers of Sinners. This is a red blend. This is a 2018 red blend. It's from Washington State. Now, this is different. We haven't opened too many wines from Washington State. I think one or two in the past, not too many. But this should be an interesting wine. It's interesting for a couple of reasons. One, this was recommended to me by my good friend Bennett over at Sunset and Vine. And Bennett also, he recommended several wines to me. The one we had last week was quite good. So we're going to open up this one. The other thing about this, there's something interesting, something rather unique about the label. Now, what's unique about the label is, well, I'm going to tell you. We're going to say this towards the end. Hopefully this show won't go long. This will probably be a short show just because it's been a long day. And I'll explain that later too. But this label is rather unique for a couple of reasons. One, well, you can kind of see what's going on with the label there a little bit. But there's actually more to it than meets the eye. And I'll explain that in a little bit. Here's the back end of the label. I'm going to read this. It says, Prayers of Sinners, 2018 Red Blend, Washington State. One's true self lies somewhere between a virtuous good side and an indulgent dark side. In a world full of temptation, we all indulge... Oh, wait a minute. I've got to read this a little more dramatically, don't I? Okay, let's try it again. In a world full of temptation, we all indulge from time to time. This red blend is for the sinner in all of us, the dark side that craves indecadent, smooth, and luxurious red wine. Should I read that again in like more of a Rod Serling kind of thing? In a world full of temptation, we all indulge from time to time. This red blend is for the sinner in all of us, the dark side that... I don't know. That doesn't work. The dark side that craves decadent, smooth, and luxurious red wine. I can't do Rod Serling. What can I say? It says, whether you're a sinner or a saint, we're all the same at the core. And this is revealing right here. At the bottom, you can see that it says, the truth will be revealed in the dark. What does that mean? The truth will be revealed in the dark. That's a hint. Anyway, this is cellared and bottled by Prayers of Sinners and Saints in Patterson, Washington. 14.5% alcohol by volume in this 750 milliliter bottle. Now, yeah, I kind of overdid. I already blew the open on this show at the very beginning with the whole Facebook thing. So, you know, it's all episode 87 is pretty much it's pretty much done. So whatever, anything goes now. Okay, doesn't matter. So let's go ahead before we get started. Let me check the chat one more time. And okay, nothing going on there. Nothing going on anywhere else. All right. So Ed, I'm glad you're here. Glad you made it on, by the way. All right, let's go ahead and open this wine because I'm getting a little thirsty. We're going to try this wine. And then we'll talk about some of the things that, we'll talk about the truth will be revealed in the dark. I do want to reveal that to you. That should be a lot of fun. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this wine. And I've got my corkscrew going here. We'll get this open. Hopefully, we'll get this bottle open shortly. Hopefully, there are no more glitches tonight. This has been a very weird night so far. Okay, there we go. That came right out. All right, and of course, I have my trusty Veneto aerator from the Veneto Wine Lover set. And the Veneto Wine Lover set is available from Amazon for $19.99. You can actually just purchase the aerator by itself. I think it's $12.99. If you go up to my website at drinkwithrick.com, there's a banner at the top, and you can actually order it right there directly. I might get a few cents from it. I might not. I don't know, to be honest with you. I haven't made any money from Amazon so far. Spent a lot of money with Amazon through the years, just haven't made much of any. Okay, let me put my mouse back over here, and let's go ahead and pour the wine. And, of course, to hold the wine, I have my trusty Galway Genuine Irish Crystal Glass from Ireland, given to me by my employers at BuyToBeerRadios.com. We're going to pour a little bit of this wine in here, just a little bit, and then we're going to, we're getting a late start on this, folks. There'll be a lot of editing to do later tonight and tomorrow. But while we're doing that, let's go ahead and check the pricing and everything else in this wine. I learned a little. I looked up the wine and I was trying to learn more about it. The Illicit Wine Project had it there for $13, calling it a broody red wine, deeply layered with blackberry, dark fruit, violet, and cocoa. And I found it on a couple of other places. Vivino had it, but for $10.98 a bottle. But it's a 2017 vintage, is what they have up here. They don't really have the 2017 vintage. And the grapes they have there are a Shiraz slash Syrah and a Merlot. And I was thinking, well, okay, if it's a Shiraz, Syrah, it's the same basic things, just called different things in different countries. But so it's basically Syrah Merlot, and I was curious what the blend was. So I had to look it up, and I was trying to find it on their website. It was tough to find, but and of course I have it here at TotalWine.com has it for $10.99. For this bottle. And I had a tough time trying to figure out what the blend was, and I finally found it. Where was it? I don't know if I still have it up here right now, but wine.com listed it, but they didn't really have the current blend up there. But I finally found it on one site, and I want to give it proper attribution, but I can't remember exactly where I saw it. Where I saw the oh yeah, it is. It's on the Illicit site. Okay, there it is. So it's according to this, it's a 90% Syrah and a 10% Merlot. 90% Syrah, 10% Merlot, and this is 14.5% alcohol. That confirms this on Vivino. It confirmed it. So people seem to kind of like this wine, so we're gonna give it a little try. I'm letting it breathe a little bit before I taste it, but I think we've had. Oh, I almost forgot to try the wine out to pair tonight. We have some smoked sausage And this is, and my wife, she didn't prepare this. Well, she prepared the platter for me, but this is actually purchased from the Q Shack up here in Charlotte that we like to go to often. It's a smoked sausage. It was a smoked beef sausage, a personal favorite of mine. And we have the smoked, this is the beef brisket and some smoked turkey, all smoked stuff. I don't know about this with the smoked. Well, we'll give it a try. And we have some cheese. So we have the Trader Joe's creamy Gouda, of course, and we have some, I'm not sure what this is. And I have this is a Parmesan and white cheddar blend. So we're going to give that a try. So let's give this wine a little bit of a taste. Right? And a smell first, got to give it a whiff. Okay, on the nose, a little oaky. It smells a little earthy. But I'm getting, a little tobacco in there. I could smell it. Smell like a little tobacco on the nose. Yeah. I'm getting some tobacco on the nose. That's not something I don't usually get in aromas. Usually I get a hint of it in a taste, but not right in there. Yeah, it smells like tobacco. And that's mostly what I smell. Let's see. A little bit of blackberry there. Some black fruits. Let's give it a taste. Okay. Blackberry. Yeah, there's some black fruits in there. Blackberry, some black cherry, maybe a hint of raspberry. And it is a little bit oaky. But there is a hint of chocolate in there too. Now, the interesting thing is I could smell the tobacco, but I'm not really tasting it. Yeah, a little bit of tobacco, but I'm not really tasting the tobacco. What I'm tasting here is chocolate. Faint hits of chocolate. Yeah, which is really weird. I could smell tobacco, taste chocolate. But definitely some blackberries, some black fruits. It's fairly bold. I mean, as you can see, I'm going to pour a little bit more of this. As you can see, it is fairly full-bodied. It's fairly full-bodied. Not as deep as a couple of the other wines we tried the last couple of weeks, but this is a fairly full-bodied wine, as I would expect with a Merlot in there. It is somewhat tannic. There are a fair amount of tannins in this wine. There's a fair amount of tannin. And it's very, very dry. It's a very dry wine. And it is somewhat acidic. Might be okay with this. Might actually work pretty well with this. We're going to give it a try in just a minute. Before we do that, let's go back to the chats. And, wrong. I've got my mouse right here. Let's go back to the chats. This been one weird night, hasn't it? It's getting weirder every minute. Okay, and Beast on Gaming is in the chat. Great to see you, Beast on Gaming. Says, I'm not old enough to drink, but for some reason, this is enjoyable. Well, thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Sit back. We're going to have a lot more fun. You might get a kick out of this label here when we get down to it, because there is something with this label. It says the truth will be revealed in the dark, and I'm going to reveal that truth in just a little bit. And I only found out about it today. We're going to have some fun. We'll toast some birthdays, anniversary. Anybody know anybody who's having a birthday coming up, we'll be happy to toast too, or an anniversary. That's fine. Gaming anniversary. Anybody having a gaming anniversary on Twitch or anything like that? Could be fun. Let's see. Go back to the chat. I'm glad you're here, Ed. It is kind of quiet over there on Facebook. I think I just kind of I just totally hose that whole Facebook experience for everybody tonight. I don't know what happened, but I basically that was something else. I don't know. Anyway, so nothing else going on. Nothing going on YouTube. So let's go ahead and pair it with some food. Now, what I have here, what I'm going to try it here with is first is the beef brisket. This is the beef brisket. And this is a really good beef brisket, by the way, although it's rather cold now because it's been sitting in the studio for going on 40 minutes. Because my wife just brought it up to me just a few minutes before showtime. Let's see. Oh, I like that. Very nice. I'm going to have another piece of that, as a matter of fact. This beef brisket is very good, smoked beef brisket, but it is actually pretty good with the wine. Pleasantly surprised. I like this. Very good. Try another piece of it. I like it. Yeah. Good pairing. Good pairing. I'm going to clear the palate a little bit. And then we're going to try it. We're going to try it with the smoked, I'm not sure about this. We're going to try it with the smoked beef sausage. Smoked beef sausage. Smoked beef sausage. Honestly, I haven't had much of this yet. And this wine. Let's see. It really brings out, I think a lot of it's the tannin here in this wine really brings out the smokiness of this smoked beef sausage. I kind of like that pairing too. I like that. It's pretty good pairing. I'm actually pleasantly surprised because I wasn't exactly expecting it to be like that. So we'll give that a good. Then we'll give that an A plus. I like that. Good pairing. Let's try it with a smoked turkey. Smoked turkey, I don't know. Could be. Smoked turkey. This is good smoked turkey, by the way. It really is. Let's see. It's okay with the smoked turkey. Not bad. Not bad. I think the meat is really good tonight, so I think it really helps carry the wine both and back and forth. I would say I would do the beef brisket and the sausage first. The smoked turkey's okay, but there are a couple of other wines, especially since we like to have smoked turkey around Thanksgiving, and we're just a couple of weeks away from Thanksgiving, folks. So smoked turkey is there's several wines that I would recommend for smoked turkey. You know what? Maybe next week I'll do that. I'll give a few wine pairing recommendations for Thanksgiving meals. Let me have a little more water. And then we'll try it with the cheeses. And before we try it with the cheeses, let me check the chat one more time. Tom Antio's in the chat. He says, what do you think of the Boonshine we tried yesterday? It was pretty good. Boonshine. It wasn't real moonshine. It was a beer called Boonshine. It was from one of the breweries up there in the Boone area, Boone Blowing Rock area. I thought it was quite good. It was actually pretty good beer. That was a good beer. And let's see. Nothing going out. It's kind of quiet on YouTube tonight. Let's go ahead and try pairing it with, I'm not sure what this is. We're going to try it, find out. It tastes like, it's a cheddar. It's a white cheddar. Yeah, it's white cheddar. Interesting. Well, that was weird. The white cheddar. You ever taken a dip in the pool at the YMCA and they just got too much. No, I'm not even going there. It's not that bad, folks. It really isn't. It just, you get a little water in your mouth from that, and it's like, why does it have that kind of taste to it? Pool taste to it. No, it's not that bad. That's weird though. It's the white cheddar. I think I'll skip the white cheddar on that. Let me try it with the cheddar and Parmesan blend. Well, I gotta be careful here. Saying it tastes like pool water. No, it doesn't. Okay. All right. Let's try this. Mm. That's a very interesting. It's okay. I think this is okay. And I think it's not the cheddar so much. I think it's the Parmesan that goes pretty well with this. The Parmesan pairs pretty well with this. I like that. Let me clear the palate again. I didn't do that from the last one. Let's try it with the Trader Joe's Double Cream Gouda, because this is, we've never had a miss on this, folks. We have yet to have a miss on this. Let's give it a taste. Pour a little more wine. Let's see how this goes. Trader Joe's Double Cream Gouda. It should be good. Once again, the Gouda pairs well with the wine and vice versa. You know, we have never tried a wine yet that does not pair well with this Trader Joe's Double Cream Gouda cheese. In fact, this Double Cream Gouda, as I mentioned several times in the past, has actually saved a couple of wines that we tried in the past. A lot to be said for that. The Gouda wins again. That stays. I like that. That's good. So in the end, I think it goes really well with the beef brisket. Goes pretty well with the smoked beef sausage. The turkey's okay, but I would recommend a few other wines with that. That white cheddar, I didn't care for it too much. The cheddar and Parmesan combo was actually pretty decent. And of course, the Double Cream Gouda, a winner all the way around. So that's what we have paired with this. So before we do anything else, before we get to the birthdays and such, wrong one again. Let's go back to the chat. And I hope everybody can see me on Facebook. I know Ed can see me. I don't know if anybody else can. I hope so. I hope so. It's Barnstars here. Good to see you. It's Barnstar. It's great to see you in the chat. How are you doing? He says, evening, Rick. How's the wine selection tonight? So far, so good. Very good. It's Barnstar says, heard you talk about Thanksgiving a minute ago, and I was wondering if you have a special traditional wine that you drink or serve each year, or if you try new selections each year like you do on your show. I'm glad you asked that question because, you know, in years past, there were a couple of years, a few years when my wife and I both really enjoyed some of the, there were the wines from Biltmore, some of the Biltmore wines that we would have with the turkey. And I liked the reds, and she preferred the whites, but we would get a bottle of each, and we'd open up the Biltmore wines. We did that for a couple of years. And now we would buy our turkeys from Honey Baked Ham. We'd get the whole smoked turkey from Honey Baked Ham, which was great turkey. If you've never had it, it's excellent. And we get all the fixings and everything for that. But after the first couple of years, I started experimenting with various other wines, and I've gotten into the habit of every year since then to just try new wines, just to experiment and see what they're like. We've had a couple of misses, but mostly were pretty decent hits. I'll have to say, sad to say, it was on Thanksgiving that I opened the 40th anniversary Caymus wine. I still have the bottle back down here. The Caymus wine was a $100 bottle of wine at the time. It's worth a lot more than that now, because that was some years ago that I opened that one up. And I did, fortunately, I opened it up with friends. We had friends and family there that were just having a great Thanksgiving meal. And I had one bottle of it that was given to me as a gift by my employers. And I opened that one bottle up. We went through that bottle, and it was just amazing. It was an amazing wine. And as soon as the last drop was gone, I immediately was sorry that I opened it in that respect, because I no longer had the wine. I've got the bottle for posterity, but I no longer have the wine. However, I'm not really that sorry, because it was a special Thanksgiving anyway. as they all are. And we had friends and family there that were all very special to us. And I'm really, really glad that I got to share that wine. I never would have opened it myself to drink it myself anyway. I don't like to do that, but it was just a great experience to be able to open that wine up with some special people there, that we all got to share the experience, and that was a wonderful experience, and it's a great memory that I'll carry with me always. As Bardstar says, I'm doing really well. Thanks for asking. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Stick around. Like I said, this bottle of wine, what we're drinking, if you're just joining us, this is a Prayers of Sinners 2018 Red Blend from Washington State. And at the bottom of this thing, and I read it earlier, at the bottom of this it says, "The truth will be revealed in the dark." Now, what it is, there's some, I guess I should talk about that now a little bit. There is some mythos to this, I guess. The thing is that if you look at the bottle, if you look at the, look at that label, they talk about prayers for sinners, saints and sinners, what we see on the outside, and this is what we are on the inside. Aside from the skeleton on the inside, this is what we're really like on the inside. So on the outside, we're praying, as you can see that on the and on the inside, are we really the same person on the inside that we portray to be on the outside, or are we something completely different? I think that's basically what it's getting at, and we'll find out. We'll find out shortly what that's about, what that line means. Yeah, I know. I'm really dragging it out, right? I'm stretching it out. I won't keep it a mystery forever. We'll do it here shortly. But before we do that, let's get to the birthdays, because I have a lot of birthdays I want to get to, and we are really getting behind. So let's get to the birthdays. Fireworks, please. Cue the fireworks. Birthdays. First, for the birthdays, I want to give a birthday shout out to my friend Kim. My friend Kimberly. Kimberly's birthday was actually, let's see, the 12th. That was actually Thursday, but I want to give her a shout out. Kimberly is the wife of my good friend Ken, who a childhood friend of mine, who I basically grew up with in church. And really cool guy. Really, Ken's always been a really cool guy. And Ken and Kimberly, they're both friends of mine. Kim's birthday is 11/12, or was 11/12. It's kind of a belated birthday toast, but this is for my friend Kimberly Japhet. This is for you. Happy birthday, or happy belated birthday. May you have many more. It's for Kimberly. I have another birthday toast. I got to run through these kind of quick tonight because we are running late. This one's for my friend Michael. Michael is another one of those OnForce alumni. He and I go way back to the days of OnForce, IT service providers. OnForce was a platform, it started off as computerrepair.com, changed the name to OnForce, and it's a platform for IT service providers, looking for contract work and companies looking to hire contractors for contract computer repair and IT work. And that's how I met him and a lot of the other guys there that worked doing contract work as I did when I worked in IT back in the day. And when I started the Forcefield podcast, which was the second podcast, a lot of people thought that was the first podcast I ever put out in 2006. It was actually the second one. But that was the second podcast I put out. They became listeners, and we started a forum there for the Forcefield, and they were all part of that Forcefield forum, which the forum still exists actually today. So anyway, here's to Michael Bennett. His birthday was yesterday, the 13th, Friday the 13th. Here's to Michael. Happy birthday. Now, another good friend of mine whose birthday, and I toasted him last year too. I toasted their anniversary. Mike and his wife, another Mike, different Mike. This is from I got to make the distinction. First toast was for Michael Bennett. The second toast is, the next toast here is for Mike Smith, my good friend Mike Smith, a longtime podcaster like myself, and that's how I first met him, was podcasting, even though he's also in IT. He's also an old IT professional. He's had an IT consulting business for many, many, many years, well established. Mike knows his stuff really well. But he's had a long-running podcast, and I didn't meet him from the other IT guys. I met him through doing podcasting because he's had a long-running podcast called The Mike Tech Show, and I was a big fan of that, and still am. Actually, I haven't actually had a chance to catch his show much lately, but he is one of the inspirations for me to do this wine stream, because for so many years, he was doing this. He was doing his live podcast, his podcast live, and streaming it. And I think he was doing it on a Ustream and a couple of other platforms. But he would do it every week. And he is up to well over 1,000 shows or something. Just like Todd, my good friend Todd Cochran, who's also a podcaster, has been live streaming his show and recording his show live. And he started out on, I think, on Ustream too, and a couple other platforms. But Mike Smith is a longtime podcaster. Been doing it at least as long as I have, maybe a little bit longer. And he was a member of, still is a member of the Tech Podcast Network, the Tech Podcast Network, which I was a part of as well, and which Tommy is a part of. Tommy's part of the Tech Podcast Network with his show Cube Command. Anyway, Mike Smith, your birthday is coming up on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, the 17th. So Mike, here's Mike. He's a really cool guy, and I tell you what, he puts together a great show. It's just a great show, and his after show is a lot of fun too. And I've hung around for many of those after shows too. But if you ever get to catch it, it's Mike Tech. I think it's MikeTech.com. Mike Tech Show. Anyway, Mike Smith, your birthday, the 17th. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to my old friend, Mike Smith. Here's to Mike. And I'm going to toast you again. Second toast, Mike Smith. Happy birthday. May you have many, many, many more. I have another toast for another podcast. Yeah, a lot of podcasters in this group tonight. Several of them anyway, a couple of them. I have another toast from my good friend, let's see. Oh, Ed has something in the chat. I'm sorry. Ed says, it may be only me here on Facebook. I don't hear crickets, though. Well, I hope not. Other people, the thing is, Ed, I know that a lot of people watch the show and don't comment or anything. They watch it on several platforms. I actually have more viewers and listeners that kind of watch and kind of just passively watch, or just sort of not really commenting, not wanting to be known that they're watching, but they are. And I'm digressing here, but I'll get back to that thought in a minute. Anyway, we're still in the birthday mode. See, this is the Stream of Consciousness show going on. That's what this is, live. Let's see. Okay, so another podcaster of mine who's having a birthday this coming Wednesday the 18th. Hope he's probably watching. If not, he might be watching later. This is to my good friend Matthew Passy. And he is also a podcast consultant. He does some podcast consulting. He has his own podcast. And I first met him at in person. I mean, I'd known of him for a while, but I actually first got to meet him in person at Podfest in was it 2017? I think 2017 and 2018 Podfest. 89, yeah, I think it was 2018 Podfest when I first actually met him. But here's to you, Mr. Passy. And your birthday is the 18th. Happy birthday to you. let me check and see if things are going on. I don't know what the status is on Facebook right now. It's really really some odd stuff going on tonight for me. Anyway, you know what? I'm going to give Matthew Passy another toast just because I can. So here's to you, Matthew Passy. Happy birthday to you, and hopefully we'll get to see you at the next Podfest in 2021. If we can make it over there for 2021 Podfest, it's I don't know. I know the plans are being made. I have my ticket. Tommy has his ticket. We're planning to go, but it's still a little up in the air as to whether or not all this COVID stuff is done with, and we can actually meet up and have conventions again. Hopefully we can in March, but we're kind of making tentative plans to do that. Anyway, Matthew, I hope to see you again at Podfest. In the meantime, I'll be chatting with you here online. Happy birthday to you. May you have many, many, many more. One more person I'd like to give a birthday to. Well, two more people. I'm sorry. The two more people I'd like to give birthday toasts to. First one is to my good old friend Ted Duke. Teddy Duke. He was known as Teddy Duke. When I was a kid, that's who we all called him Teddy. Teddy Duke. Ted Duke, really cool guy. And he was a member of our church when I was a kid. Looked up to him, and he was just a cool all around guy. I really liked Ted. Anyway, Ted, his birthday is Thursday, right? Coming up Thursday, the 19th. Anyway, Ted, I haven't talked to Ted in ages, in years and years. I haven't seen him in years and years, but I haven't seen him on Facebook. We're friends on Facebook, and I just want to say, Ted, here's to you, my old friend. Happy, happy birthday. Here's to Ted Duke. And there's one more birthday, another birthday that's very special to me. Before I get to that, let me just double check the chats one more time. It's Barnstar says, glad you enjoy that special wine back with friends back then. Yes, I'm glad I did too. I think it's better, if you keep a wine bottle up forever. A lot of people are wine collectors. There are a lot of wine collectors out there. I've collected a few. But it's difficult to do when you want to open up and drink them if they're that good. But then if they're that expensive, you're kind of afraid to. But there are times when you just kind of have to open the bottle. And you know what? There are two bottles of wine in particular that I have pledged never to open and drink. Two very special bottles of wine. One is a red and one is a white. And if my sisters are in the chat, they would know the wines I'm talking about. My brother Tony, my younger brother, he started getting into making his own wine. And he made some red wines, he made some white wines. And when I went up to visit him, the last time I visited him, he gave me a bottle of red and a bottle of white. They were his last bottles, basically, a red and a white. And he says, this is my last bottles. He says, the red, they say it's barely drinkable. The white, maybe not. But I've kept them, never opened them. My brother Tony passed away in 2006 of cancer. And he had cancer at the time. The last time I went up to see him, he was on oxygen, and he was getting around a little bit, but he was on oxygen, and he was not doing very well, and he didn't have long. But he did give me his last two bottles, and these last two bottles of wine I have kept, have saved, never opened them, and my sisters have warned me since then because they have tried to open a couple bottles of his wine. He says, you don't want to, don't open those bottles of wine, but because they may or may not be drinkable at all. But the thing is, I would not open them anyway because those were basically his last two bottles. At least that's what he told me. His last two bottles of wine, and I'm keeping them as keepsakes from the last two that my brother Tony made. Anyway, I don't mean to be downer about that. Just something I mentioned. But those are the two bottles of wine I think I will never, ever, ever open. Not intentionally, anyway. So, and Gina's in the chat. Gina's great to see you. It's great to see you. I'm glad you're here. Please stick around. Please tell me how you're doing. And Gina, if you're just joining us, this is really cool. Gina, if you're just joining us, this is the wine that we're drinking. We're drinking this Prayers for Sinners wine, and it has a little mythos to it. And it's 2018 red blend from Washington State. And there's a cryptic message in this wine. The truth will be revealed in the dark. Okay, and I'm going to reveal that. I found out what it was just before the show. I didn't know what that meant before, and then I found out just before the show. So I was able to quickly put something together for it, but that'll be revealed. I'll reveal that shortly. So where was I? Oh yes, the birthdays. We've got to get back to the birthdays. One more very special birthday that I'd like to make a toast to, and this is for my niece, my sweet niece, Joyce. Joycey, if you're watching anywhere, this is for you. You're much loved. You know that. You know you're much loved by everybody, including me. Joyce is one of my nieces, and a very sweet person, and she and her fiance Michael, they're really great people. I want to say, Joyce, I want to say happy birthday to you. We don't get to talk much these days. We haven't been down there to see you all lately because all this pandemic stuff and everything else going on. We can't really do a lot of traveling. Although we did do some traveling today, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I want to say, Joyce, here's to you. Your birthday is the 13th, right? Or was the 13th. I'm sorry, we passed the 13th, right? It was yesterday. So, Joycey, here's to you, to my wonderful niece, Joyce. Happy birthday. And I'm going to toast you again. I'm going to toast you again just because I can. Joyce, happy birthday to you, and may you have many, many, many more. Happy birthday. Here's to my niece, Joyce. I think that does it for the birthdays. I think we got the birthdays down. So once again, let me get back to this wine for a minute. The wine's actually pretty good. Very good. And it was a recommendation from my friend Bennett at Sunset and Vine up in Blowing Rock, North Carolina. And I've talked about them before. Sharon Chrisman, the proprietor, and Bennett Larson, the proprietors there. And every time we go up to Blowing Rock, I make a point to stop in. Now, what I wanted to do this last trip was to go in and maybe do a little short, walkthrough of the store on video that I could show to you, and maybe talk to him a few minutes so you could get to meet Bennett. And I didn't get a chance to do that this trip, but I'll tell you what, we're going to try to do that sometime. The next time we go up there, we'll try to do that. I want to do that to my good friends at the wine store, too. I want to have the folks at the wine store on and maybe get some of them on to talk about wine store a little bit and take a walk through their shop so you can see where I like to shop for wine there here in Charlotte. Really cool place to shop for wine and meet some of the people there. Well, one of these days I'm going to do that. In the meantime, so I have, there's an anniversary. There's one anniversary I want to do, and that is, and before we get to that, let me get back to the chat. It's Barnstar says that's, okay, I got to scroll up a little bit here. Barnstar says, the bottles are to honor his memory. I think that's so great. It is to honor his memory. One of them has a label too. Yeah. I'm going to show that. I have a picture of it somewhere. I don't right offhand know where I have it here on the system, but I'll look it up and we'll see if we can. Maybe around Thanksgiving, I'll share that with everybody. It's Barnstar says, I was curious about something else, Rick. I was checking out some of the VOD episodes on your website, that the video demand episodes that he's talking about on your website the last week, and I noticed you didn't have the wine aerator in older shows. Had you used aerators before starting Drink with Rick, and if not, what motivated you decide to do so. Well, and he says, for context, I've never used an aerator, but now I'm curious about getting one. From time to time, I've not really used aerators per se, but I have used other things to decant and aerate the wines in the past. I started using an aerator. I started using an aerator on the show about midway through the first season, the first year, and the reason I did that was because just opening up the bottle of wine straight and just pouring it straight, and I was having to do a little sort of decanting where I was having the wine breathe in the glass at first, and I felt like that needed a little bit more. It needed a little bit something extra. I needed to be able to mix the oxygen in a little bit better, so that's why I started using the aerator at that point. Plus, I had about that time I had received the Veneto Wine Lover set. I'd purchased the Veneto Wine Lover set for the aerator, but also for a couple of the other items, and I wanted to review them on the show. So originally, I actually got the aerator. I purchased the aerator, and it came with a whole kit with it was the foil cutter and the corkscrew, which we kind of screwed up a few weeks ago. It kind of went out on us, and there were a couple of other items, and then there was the chiller. You put it in there and to chill the wine with. And we tested all those. We tested them out on the show because I said I wanted to do a review on them. And that's what we did. But I liked the aerator so much, and it was such a handy item, I just kept it. It's easy to clean. The thing is super easy. I clean it. The first few shows, I was just leaving them, and after I was done, my wife, she was cleaning them, and I was like, okay, I shouldn't be, I should be cleaning those. I shouldn't leave them for her to clean. So I've been cleaning them ever since then. At the end of every show, at the end of the night, I take this down. That's the first thing I do is I clean it for the next show. So it's a clean aerator, but I really enjoy using it. I do, and yes, I've used another aerator too, but lots of times I've decanted the wines, and decanting works. As a matter of fact, I have an aerator right back here. You can see it right there behind the Eat, Drink, Sleep, which, by the way, my daughter Tia made that for me, though, for Father's Day, I think, for the show. Really nice canvas painting, little tiny painting on canvas. Right behind that is a Ventura aerator that they bought for me last year to use on the show. We actually did an episode where I tried it out and I used it on the show, but it was a little messy. I was a little awkward with it because I'd never used that type of aerator before, and I was a little awkward with it and made kind of a mess. And I thought, well, I don't use it that much. We might bring it out again for the holidays. We'll see. But I like to display it because it's a very cool aerator. I mean, it's really nice and it's very elaborate, and it was very expensive from what I understand. So, and I thank my wife for that. So, it's Barnstar says, so it's pretty durable. How do you store it? I don't really store it. What I do is I clean it, and it comes apart in 2 or 3 pieces. It technically comes apart in 3 pieces, but it comes apart in basically 2 pieces here. As you can see here, it'll come apart in 2 pieces like this, and there's a third piece. This part can also come off, but I don't like to do that, this piece. But I just wash them. In hot water, soap and hot water, and then set them out to dry. They sit out to here to dry. I don't really store it. I just set out here to dry, and it just stays that way till the next show. Stays up here in the studio till the next show. So it's all ready for me to put in the bottle when I'm getting. But great questions. It's Barnstar says you can disassemble it. Cool. Yes. Yeah, you can. It makes it really easy to clean. It's really cool. So anyway, where was it going? Oh yeah. No, I forgot where I was going. Oh, yes, the anniversary. There's an anniversary. We have an anniversary to toast. Don't need the fireworks this time because this anniversary is a little bit different. Okay, so what we did, as some of you may know, Gina, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but my son Tommy, a podcaster, he's a second-generation podcaster in his own right, and he's been attending Appalachian State up in Boone, North Carolina. And we took him up there for his first semester in the fall. We took him up there, we piled everything in the car, we moved it all up there, got him set up in his dorm room and everything like that. And 2 weeks later, the COVID cases started coming in. I mean, there were just some COVID cases. I think members of the football team were getting it, and other people were getting it. Tommy was having some issues there, and we were just getting really concerned about the COVID situation there. So the chancellor and the folks there at Appalachian said, okay, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to give you the option to continue your studies remotely. We're just going to give you the option, if you want, to just do everything online, and for those who want to stay at the dorms, they can stay at the dorms. For those who want to go home and do it online, they can do that. We opted to go get Tommy after the first 2 weeks. We had to go way back up there, take all his stuff, pack it all up, and bring it all back here about 2 weeks later, which is fine because he's been working fine here, doing everything remotely. All his classes are remote, and it saved us some money too. It saved us some money on tuition and fees on the dorm room and all that sort of thing. So it's worked out okay. The only thing is that Tommy had one of his classes, because his major is communication. He's doing a minor in business, but his major is in communication. And one of the classes that he wanted to do, he received an opportunity to get some training at the radio station. That's one of his things with communication. He had the opportunity to go do some work at WASU, the college radio station there. And he really wanted to do this. It was a really cool opportunity for him. The thing is that we're doing it remotely was going to be kind of an issue, and he was going to have to do, I think he had to have 6 sessions where he had to go in and do some training and also do some on-air work. So the way he worked it out was that we would go up, we'd make 2 trips up there. And during the course of a couple of days, we would get 3 sessions on the first trip and 3 sessions on the second, which we did. The last week, we went up there and we did his first 3 sessions up there on the first trip, got that all out of the way, which, by the way, as I mentioned on the last show, it was the 100th. It's funny. It was actually completely, this was not planned. Okay. It was just by sheer coincidence. The first day that he went on and did his first live broadcast on WASU, the college radio station. This is an FM station for rock. His first time doing this on air live happened to be the 100th anniversary of commercial radio. It just happened to be Ajit Pai, the FCC commissioner, had put out a big statement saying, hey, congratulations for the 100th anniversary of commercial radio. The first commercial radio went on the air on this date in 1920, November 2nd, 1920. And he just happened to be 100 years later on the 100th anniversary to do his first broadcast, which I thought was really cool. I thought that was pretty cool. As a former person in broadcasting myself. So now, Tom Antio says, as you said, it was fate. Yes, it was. It was fate, I guess. Anyway, so this past week we had to go back up there so he could do his final 3 sessions. So I went up there, and we all went up there for a couple of days. He finished his sessions there, and we came back. Now, while we were there, we're walking around downtown Boone. If you've never been to downtown Boone, like Blowing Rock, it's a really cool place. You're up in the mountains, and it's downtown, and it's kind of like Mayberry, but they're up in the mountains, right? So we just happened to find out that I was going somewhere with this. that today, November 14th, 2020, is the wrong one. Is the 82nd, there it is, there we go, the 82nd anniversary of the Appalachian Theater. The Appalachian Theater, we're talking about a theater that first came on, opened its doors November 14th, 1938. That's today, November 14th in 1938, 82 years ago. And they're celebrating their 82nd birthday. Appalachian Theater, downtown Boone, North Carolina. For 82 years, they have been putting on live performances. They have been putting on films and movies. It's basically a combination movie theater and performing arts theater, or with a live stage and everything. The thing is, this, in my opinion, I think is one of the last of the old-time classic movie theaters. You know what I mean? The old-time classic movie theaters where it was just like one theater. It was before all the multi-screen theaters and all that. The classic old movie theaters with the plush seats and the red velvety curtains and all this kind of stuff. And you go in and you sit down and they have the balcony. Who remembers a movie theater with a balcony in it? I do, because I was from that era, I guess. But the last of that era, I remember as a kid sitting up the balcony in a movie theater watching a movie. Most people today, they don't know that. I mean, you got these multiplexes and these 24 plexes and 36 plexes and how many other theaters they have in there. They're little tiny squatty screens, They really, and this was a big screen. This was the silver screen. I mean, really the silver screen. The way movies were meant to be shown. Anyway, so this is the 82nd birthday of the Appalachian Theater. Opened November 14th, 1938. It's now November 14th, 2020. And I want to say happy birthday. This is a toast. Happy birthday to the Appalachian Theater. And may you have many, many, many more. Love the performing arts. I do. And especially movies. Grew up on movies. So that is the 82nd birthday of the Appalachian Theater. That's really cool. I think that's just awesome. So, there's something else I want to show you. I meant to show you this a few weeks back. And before I do, let me go back to the chats for a minute. I'll pick some of my mice here. Let's see. Nothing going on YouTube. Let's see on Facebook. Okay, kind of quiet on Facebook. Let's see what's on Twitch. As Barnstar says, whoa, I was looking the theater up online. What a great venue inside and out. Oh, yeah, and the Appalachian Theater did a massive redo. They went and did a whole remodeling, massive remodeling in 2017, which was, in a way, it was kind of sad because it was just a couple of years later. I think they reopened in 2019 after this huge remodeling bit, and then it was just a few months later that COVID hit, and they had to shut the doors. And it's kind of sad because they're just like, well, we can't do anything right now because the doors are shut. Governor Roy Cooper. Here's the odd thing too: the governor of our state, North Carolina, Governor Roy Cooper. He is really doing all these lockdown mandates and stuff, so to speak. All these, you can't do this, you can't do that. So he had his picture taken, I think it was in 2017, 2019. If you go to the website, go to the Appalachian Theater website, he's got his picture taken with all the staff and whatever. And he's got this big grin on his face, like, well, yeah, I'm really proud to support the Appalachian Theater. And, of course, now he's got this mandate down where a lot of these places can't open. So it's, I don't know. This is not political. It's not a political statement at all. It's just kind of irony because here he is getting a photo op with the theater, and right now the theater can't really open or do any business because he has everyone on restrictions. Hopefully they'll be back open soon and they'll be back to doing performing. I think they do have a performing schedule. I saw the performing schedule. They have a couple of films planned, and they have a couple of live performances planned. Hopefully, they can do that. Hopefully, they'll be open up again because it's a great little theater. And it's like I said, I love those kind of theaters because when I was a kid, that was how I went to the movies. That was, I'm dating myself here, but that was how I went to the movies when I was a kid. I saw the multiplexes come through and now that sort of thing. I did, but it was my first movies. The first movie I ever saw, and I have some very, very young memories of this. And I'll tell you why, because it was kind of a traumatic memory in a sense. The first movie that I ever went to see, my parents took me, and Gina, I think you were there too. They took my sister and me to go see Pinocchio. They went to, and I'm talking about the original Walt Disney's Pinocchio. And that was where I kind of fell in love with the Disney thing, and Disney animated films. Went to see Pinocchio. But during the movie, and I had popcorn and everything. During the movie, I got sick. That was when I was having symptoms. I didn't really realize it until during the middle of the movie, and I got really sick. But it turns out I had, I think it was the mumps. I think I had mumps or the measles, chickenpox, one of the three. I think it was the mumps. And I came down with the mumps in the middle of the movie theater, so I spent half the movie just kind of in my mom's lap. And, but I do remember parts of the movie. But I was so enamored because it was my first movie. I was little. I was 5, 6 years old, something like that. Gina might remember. That was my first movie experience. I got sick at the movies. The thing is, it gave me a lifelong love of the movies, and it was in a classic theater like that, by the way. And the thing is, it also gave me an aversion to popcorn. I could not stand, until I was in my early 20s, I could not stand the smell of buttered popcorn. Because it was eating buttered popcorn is when I got sick. So from that time on until it was my 20s, I could not eat buttered popcorn. It just had I don't know. That's just one of those blocked memories, I guess. I grew to love buttered popcorn later, had a lot of it, grew to really love it later, but now I can't eat it at all because I'm not allowed to eat corn products. So and it's a doctor's orders. It's doctor's orders, nothing health-wise. I mean, it is health-wise, but the doctor says I can't eat corn products like popcorn and things like that anymore. So I'm off of that, which is terrible because I love popcorn. Anyway, so there's a little TMI from me. Anything else going on? I think I scared everybody off in the chat at this point. Anyway, so that's what I've got for the anniversary. So what else did I have going on here? Oh, yeah, Appalachian Theater, we covered that. National Days. Oh, let's cover the National Days real quick. We're just going to do that all at once. National Days. Today, November 14th, is National Seatbelt Day. National Seatbelt Day. Please wear your seatbelts. I'm a big believer in that, and my wife can attest to that because every time she goes out the door, about the last thing I say to her, besides I love you, is don't forget your seatbelt. It drives her nuts. I know it drives her nuts, but I can't help myself because I love her so much and I want her to be safe. And I just say don't forget your seatbelt. But National Seatbelt Day. I've been wearing my seatbelt for a long time, and I tell you what, I've been wearing my seatbelt. All it takes is the first accident you have, the first wreck you're into that you survive, if you survive it, and then you're wearing your seatbelt. You realize the importance of wearing a seatbelt. That's what happened to me, and I've told you about my first accident before. That was going around Space Mountain after a rainstorm. I was working at Walt Disney World at the time, and I was going on a service road, an employee access service road behind Space Mountain, and it was just after a rainstorm in my little 68 VW, and I went around the corner because the Space Mountain is on a curve. It's on a corner there, and my car hydroplaned because I was going around the corner. I turned, but the car didn't. It just kept going straight into an El Camino coming the other way. I was very fortunate to survive that, and so was the guy in the El Camino, which I guess is kind of a testament to the cars that were built at that time, I suppose. And I think most of it was divine intervention because I can tell you I didn't do much to help myself survive. I can say that. But it taught me something very important because we really didn't have seatbelts. In my 68 Volkswagen, I didn't wear a seatbelt because I didn't have one. Those little Volkswagens back there, they didn't have seatbelts. They had these little handrails on the side, little hand things on the sides, and you were supposed to hold on to it on the side when you're going around curves and stuff, which really didn't help you do anything. It's the same effect as like, oh, we're doing 100 miles an hour. Let's hit the brake real fast and hold on to little Jimmy on the side here, so he doesn't go through the windshield. That doesn't work, right? You need a seatbelt. So wear your seatbelts. National Seatbelt Day. Here's the National Seatbelt Day. I will drink to that. National Family PJ Day. Okay. National Pickle Day. I love pickles. Dill pickles, not the sweet ones. Some people love the sweet ones, hate the dill. Some people love the dill, hate the sweet. I think both my daughter Tia and I love the dill pickles. So we're both fans of dill pickles. I don't like the sweet pickles much. But I'll tell you what. Everybody hates in Maryberry is that Aunt Bee's pickles. Aunt Bee's pickles. Can't eat Aunt Bee's pickles. It tastes like, how did Barney Fife put it? Kerosene? Something like that. Anyway, here's the National Pickle Day. I know, I've watched too much TV in my day. I do, and I still do. Here's the National Pickle Day. Love a good pickle. Ooh, today is also National Spicy Guacamole Day. I know who likes guacamole. Just about everybody in my family likes guacamole. My wife, she makes a great guacamole. And she'll buy the fresh avocados and she'll now she likes to make hers really chunky. I don't like it so much chunky. I like it less chunky, where there's not so many chunks in it. She likes it chunky. I like it kind of a little bit more, more mashed up a little bit. Call it that. But we all love guacamole. It's great. Now, Tommy wasn't on board with guacamole in the beginning, but then he tried it and it's like, I kind of like this. Guacamole, great stuff, and it's good for you. Guacamole and avocados are really good for you, full of antioxidants. They're good for your health. Guacamole a day keeps the doctor away, in my opinion. An avocado a day. Guacamole is great stuff. And my sister Gina, guacamole, she used to live in a place where they had her neighbor had a guacamole tree. If I had too much of this already. An avocado tree. And their neighbors used to give them avocados, and then they could pick the avocados there. And she used to pick, and they have a guacamole all the time. I was like, wow, that's got to be an awesome place to live. You live next door to somebody with an avocado tree, and then they'll say, hey, take all the avocados you want. And I was like, okay, I'm right there. I love avocados. I love guacamole. Good stuff. Let me check and see if Gina's in there. Okay. Ed says, you and I may have seen Pinocchio together when it came out again. You never told me that story. I never told you that story? I know we saw it together. Ed and I worked at Disney together for many years. We went to see a lot of Disney movies together, both on the Disney campus and off, because Disney used to show free movies to employees all the time. So we used to get free tickets all the time to go see Disney movies, especially if there were new movies coming out, you could go and get a preview. But they would reissue the movies every so often, and we could go in and see the reissues. And Ed and I have been to a lot of the Disney movies together. We saw Popeye together too. Remember that? We saw Ed. We saw Popeye. I'm pointing over here at the Ed. You're right there. I saw Popeye. Ed and I saw Popeye together. We saw a number of films, the Disney films together. Rescuers and several films like that. Classic stuff. It was great. There was some great days at Disney seeing a lot of those films. That was a lot of fun. Anyway, where was I going? Okay. It's Barnstar says, my dad never even started up his 68 VW camper unless all of his passengers were wearing seatbelts, even though the ones in the back seat were only lap belts. Yeah, they were. And I remember my see, I'm telling you, you guys direct this. I don't really direct this. I'm way off my show notes here, but you guys direct this. We're talking about VW campers now. Ed's talking about movies. We're talking about Disney films. Yes, Pinocchio. It's Barnstar, and now we're talking about VW campers. I've got a VW camper story too. When I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I guess, middle school, early high school. Gina, you may remember this. You're still watching if you haven't nodded off to sleep or something out of sheer boredom. You remember the VW camper? We rented one. I think we were going to buy it. They were looking. My parents were looking to buy a VW camper, so they rented one. They leased or rented it or something. I don't remember what the deal was, but we had one for a short period of time to see if it was something we were going to like. If it was something that would work for us. This was not a 68. This was a 74, 73, 74 VW camper. Anyway, it was like a Volkswagen bus is what it was. Not really. It wasn't really the camper. It was more of a VW bus. Different animal a little bit. Anyway, we rented that for a while, and I remember, I think we even took a trip out to Disney in that thing once. We went out to Disney one time, the VW bus. And I can't remember exactly what the circumstances were, but I think in the end they didn't like it, so they traded back in for a Chevy Impala, a 1976. I think it was a 76 Chevy Impala. It was started falling apart right after we got it. So, but I remember that. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought that it was pretty cool having a VW, a Volkswagen bus. You know, there was plenty of room there. I remember there were lap belts. There was just lap belts in there, is all it was. Not the safest place. And I think one of the reasons that they were concerned was that I think it was a little top heavy. I think it was a little the center of gravity. I don't think they would like where the center of gravity was, and it made them nervous turning corners around and stuff. So I think that's why they didn't keep it. I don't remember all the details, but I think that had something to do with it. Because it did kind of like you take some sharp turns. You're worried if that thing was going to flip over or not. But the VWs were actually pretty cool back then. I thought they were anyway. So, and my 68 VW Beetle was a stick shift. And I learned how to drive a stick from my dad because he had a 68 VW Beetle. And my first car was a 68 VW Beetle. It was a different car. It was a different one from my dad's, but it was still a stick because I wanted a stick. My dad had a stick and he taught me how to drive a stick, and I was like, okay, I've got to have a stick. It was really cool. And I can still drive a stick. It's Marnstar says, did the 74 VW bus have a pop top too? This one did not, I don't think. If I remember right, well, I don't know. You know what? I don't think this one had a pop top on it. It didn't. Which didn't make it a camper. I think that the campers had the pop tops. The straight buses did not. I don't think. But it had a lot of other cool things in there for the time. I thought it was pretty neat. I just remember that it did seem a little top heavy. It did seem a little. The center of gravity was a little too high. So, they were worried about it rolling on them, I think. So, anyway, where was I going? I don't know. I'm not going anywhere with this. National Days. Oh, yes, we're still doing National Days. Okay, National Days. November. Tomorrow is National Bundt Pan Day. Pan is in parentheses. National Bundt Day. Like bundt cakes and stuff. I like bundt cakes. We got a great bundt cake place down the road here called Nothing Bundt Cakes. Seriously, Nothing Bundt Cakes. And they are awesome cakes. They are awesome. And I can attest to that. I've got the weight to prove it. Nothing bundt cakes. Their lemon bundt cake is just super awesome. National Philanthropy Day, National Philanthropy Day, or philanthropy, or however you want to say it. National Philanthropy Day is tomorrow as well. Be a philanthropist, please. Do your part. National Philanthropy Day. National Clean Out Your Refrigerator Day. I smell a honey-do list coming. Okay, National Clean Out Your Refrigerator Day. National Spicy Hermit Cookie Day. National Raisin Bran Cereal Day. I used to love Raisin Bran cereal, especially with honey on it. I used to put honey on Raisin Bran cereal. Loved Raisin Bran cereal with honey on it. Now, I can't really eat the raisins too much, so I still like Raisin Bran cereal, even though I can't really eat it anymore. America Recycles Day. Tomorrow is also America Recycles. Remember to recycle. It's very important. America Recycle Day. Here's to all those days. I think we're done with the national days, right? Toast in the national days. Anything else on Facebook? Yes, and Ed, yes, I remember seeing Pinocchio with you. I remember seeing a number of movies with you, and we had a great time. Great time there at the movies. Did I see, what else did I see with you? I saw a number of movies with Ed. Ed and I would go to the movies quite a bit back in the day. Saw a number of movies with Ed. Some that would be considered classic. Okay, where are we? I think that's pretty much most of all I got. I do want to remind everybody that we got another hurricane coming. Just real quick, please. Bear with me. We got another hurricane coming. This is a Hurricane Eta. This one is Hurricane Eta. We're up in the Greek alphabet. We're way up in the Greek alphabet now. Hurricane Eta crossing through Florida. I think it's supposed to cross through Florida, double back, and do some other weird stuff. This has already happened with another hurricane that happened last week. We had to drive up through some of that weather that was hurricane related the few days ago, and it was not fun. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But Hurricane Eta is coming. Please, please, please get a weather radio. You know, I'm big on weather radios. I don't have them on my desk right now and the reason I don't have them on my desk right now, I have this FRS radio, which is really cool, by the way. But the reason I don't have my weather radios on my desk right now, as I normally do for the show, is because they're all packed away from going out to Boone this past weekend. We took them all with us, just in case something was going to happen, and something did happen. Not too bad, but it was a little hairy at first going up there. But we packed all that stuff away just in case we needed them, because you never know when you're going to need a weather radio, and they do come in handy. They do come in handy, especially in power outages and things like that. We didn't want to be caught in the mountains without any weather information, or without any emergency power, without any emergency lighting or anything like that. It gets dark up there, trust me. So I would say, if you're going to get prepared, go to ready.gov, ready.gov, and look down the list of prepared. That's not ready.gov, that's buy2airradios.com, but go to ready.gov, look down your preparedness list for an emergency preparedness kit. Make an emergency preparedness kit. After the first three items, the third item on the list is actually a weather radio. I think the fifth or sixth item is a two-way radio, and we have some that are both. We have one of them at least that are both a two-way radio and a weather radio. If you go to buy2airradios.com, use the promo code WINESHOW, you can get 5% off your order. And this is true of not just weather radios, but FRS, GMRS radios, marine radios, airband radios, ham radios, any kind of radios you want to get. Go to buy2airradios.com, put in the promo code WINESHOW at checkout, and save 5% off your order. Now, for full disclosure, I work for buy2airradios.com. I'm the product manager there. I do not make, for full disclosure also, if the FTC is listening, even if they're not, I do not make any more from this. They are not an official sponsor. I'm just my boss says, hey, put a promo. Here's a promo code to give your viewers and your listeners, and that's what I have done. This is for you. It's all yours. Okay, go use it. Use it in good health. Use it in preparedness. I don't make anything extra off of this. The show isn't making anything extra off of this. This is just something for you. Okay, so. Make the most of it. Use it. 5% off. Can't beat that. I know the company's not making any more. They're making 5% less. This is for you. Okay. So anyway, it's pretty much all. Well, almost all I have here, isn't it? I think it is. I have. I was going to share a couple of pictures with you. So I have a couple of photos here. I tell you about my daughter Tia, who's an excellent artist. She's got her website that she's working on, and she's done a lot of the art. She does the Drink with Rick art for Drink with Rick. She's done the have you ever seen when we've shown our movies and things like that, the videos and the films, and you have the movie theater screen? You know what I'm talking about? This thing right here. This thing right here. Okay, she does that. That's her work. She's done the movie theater thing, the curtains and all that. That's all her work, and she's done some podcast art for Tommy and me. She's done a lot of great artwork. Now one of the things that she did for me sometime back that I did kind of want to share with everybody was, and I kind of came across it today, and I thought, well, it'd be kind of cool to share with everybody. But one thing she did this. She made this for me for, I think it was Father's Day some years ago. She made this some years ago. What this is a little kind of a scene, a little scene made out of clay. And if you look at the scene carefully, you can see, you can pick out me. That's me with my bald head and my hair. It's black hair, but it's not gray at that point. And I'm holding a plate. And then Tommy's next to me with a plate. We're all sitting at a picnic table. And then my wife Chi, she has her back to us there in that shot. That's an image of my wife Chi. And then our daughter Tia, or maybe that's Tia there in the black hair there, and Chi's standing there in longer hair, I think is what it is, the brown hair. So that's Tia sitting there, and then Chi is standing next to the picnic table. And then you see this other thing. That's our dog Cosmo. That's Tommy's dog Cosmo down there, and at the base near just below that. And she made this little scene for us, the four of us having a picnic scene with the dog. And I thought, that is really cool. That really touched me. And this is actually, here's a different shot of it here. There's another shot of it from another slightly different, about pretty much the same angle. This is the kind of stuff she does. She's dabbled in all kinds of different art, but now this is what's impressive. It's kind of cool. It's a neat little scene. What's really impressive about the scene is the size of this piece. She went through a period, and actually she still does this, where she did some miniature work. This piece that you're looking at, see that green area there, the green base? That area is just a little larger than the size of a quarter. I'm not kidding. But not even a 50-cent piece. That thing is large, just a little bit larger than a quarter, the green area. So you can imagine how tiny everything else is. So the level of detail on there is just amazing. It's just so amazing. But that is a really, really tiny miniature piece. I'm not kidding. This thing is like this big, literally this big. It is really, really tiny. And I was really impressed when she first presented it to me. And really cool stuff. But she's really talented. But I just want to share that with you because I thought that was kind of cool. So anyway, that's pretty much all I got tonight. I think that, oh yes, there's one more thing, is there? One more thing, as Columbo would say. Just one more thing. Okay, so we were talking about this. This is what we've been reviewing tonight. The Prayers of Sinners wine. I'm going to give you my final review on this, and I'm going to tell you the secret about this label. The Prayers of Sinners wine. This is a 2018. It's from Washington State. It is a 90% Syrah, however you want to say it, and 10% Merlot. Now this goes pretty well with the. Show you the back of it. That's the back end of the wine there, but this wine goes pretty well with the. I tried it. I tasted it with the beef brisket from the Q Shack. All this is from the beef brisket and the this is the smoked beef sausage and the smoked turkey from the Q Shack here in Charlotte. And I also and it went pretty well with all those. Although I think it went better with the first two than the smoked turkey. And I paired it with the white cheddar, which I really didn't care for too much, but I do like it with the cheddar, the combo cheddar and Parmesan combo. I think the Parmesan really makes that. I think it went well with that. And of course, the Trader Joe's double cream Gouda, that's always a winner. It went really, really well with that. So, that in my final review on this is it's a good wine. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't sure what to expect from it. I really wasn't sure what to expect from it, but it is a very good wine. When I first sniffed it, the first thing that came to my nose was tobacco. I mean, I smelled a very strong tobacco smell from this from the first whiff. But when I tasted it, I didn't really taste any tobacco at all. What I did taste was a little chocolate. Now it's got blackberry, it's got some black fruit in it, a lot of black fruit, a little hint of raspberry in it. It's a little oaky, not much, a little oaky, and it has a lot of tannin in it. It's rather tannin, which is one reason why I think it went pretty well with the meats here tonight. It's full-bodied, as you can see, and it's very dry wine, which I like. I love dry wines. So I think overall this is a good choice. So I would say that I would recommend it. I would highly recommend it. So now we come to the point of where I'm. What's the mystery behind this Prayers of Sinners wine? Okay, as I showed you before, Prayers of Sinners and the front label of it, and I'm going to read the back of it one more time. This is very interesting. Here's the back of the wine one more time. One's true self lies somewhere between a virtuous good side and an indulgent dark side. In a world full of temptation, we all indulge from time to time. This red blend is for the sinner in all of us, the dark side that craves decadent, smooth, and luxurious red wine. Whether you're a sinner or a saint, we're all the same at the core. So basically saying that, we all have a little good and a little bit bad to us, right? And it says the truth will be revealed in the dark. So what does that mean? Well, I'll tell you what it means. Let me pull my photos up again here real quick, and I will show you what it means. So in the daylight, all right, this is what it looks in the daylight, okay? And if you see, look very closely at the label, you've got this kind of partly a skeleton and then a regular guy, and he's praying. Prayers of Sinners. But if you take this bottle of wine, I just found this out just before I started the show. If you take this bottle of wine and you've got it in the light, and then you put it in a dark room, you get this. It's glow in the dark. Yes, it's glow in the dark. Yeah, I know, it's cheap. It's a cheap, gimmicky label. I don't know. It was kind of cool. I thought it was kind of cool. I like glow in the dark stuff anyway, but this is kind of cool. I took an image. I took a photo of this just before the show because I said, okay, this is cool. You know, in the here you go. You've got the Saints and Sinner. You've got the label there, and then when you put it in a dark room, you get the glow in the dark, and it's all completely, he's still bowing. He's still bowing, and he's praying. He's praying, but it's a skeleton. So I thought that was kind of cool. Maybe I'm morbid. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of cool. So that's the Prayers of Sinners wine. So it's Martin Star says, my family was on vacation along the Atlantic coast in 1989, and we were camping at the tip of Cape Hatteras, not far from the lighthouse, only a couple of weeks before Hurricane Hugo hit. I was only 10 at the time, but I remember listening to the news about the hurricane on our car ride home back from the Pacific coast. Yeah, and I've ridden quite a few hurricanes. Ed's ridden some hurricanes too, being from Florida, but also being in Disney employees, we went through a period where whenever a hurricane would hit, Disney would, the folks at Walt Disney World would, they'd close down the park, but to prevent looters and to keep the park secure all the way around, they would have a ride-out crew, what we called a ride-out crew, to ride out the storm. And I tell you what, if there was a place I was going to ride out a storm, I think Disney would probably be the safest place, in my opinion. But and I won't go into that now. But Ed knows what I'm talking about. But the thing is that I would volunteer for the ride out crew every time they'd have a hurricane come through, and the reason is because it meant double pay. You get paid for 24 hours straight, and you get double pay. They would pay you hazard pay for being on the ride-out crew, and it was a way to earn some extra money. So I would, every time they'd have a hurricane come through, I was like, and they would close the park down, and of course they had to take volunteers. They couldn't make you work because it was that very hazardous thing. So, or potentially hazardous things. I'd volunteer. I'd say, hey, yeah, sure, I'll do the ride-out crew. It's kind of fun, and it was kind of neat. And mostly all we did was sat around in the employee cafeteria and play cards, and then kind of look out the window from time to time, make sure nothing was blown away or nobody was trying to break in and steal something or whatever. But most of the time it was actually kind of dull. I sat around and played cards and ate and slept and whatever, but it was, and you got paid for it. It was pretty cool. So that was my adventure being on the ride-out crew at Disney back in the day. But it's not all fun and games. Trust me, it is not all fun and games. Hurricanes are very dangerous events, very dangerous things. You really don't want to ride them out unless you kind of have to, or unless you're in a position where you kind of can. And really, even in a hurricane, I felt relatively safe riding on a hurricane. I would rather, if we were getting, from where I was living at the time, if we were getting evacuated from an area, and so we have to go to some other area, I would much rather be hanging out, in one of those areas at Disney than in my own apartment, because that's about the first thing I'd blow away. So, that was okay by me. That was fine with me. So anyway, as Barnstar says, and another question for you, Rick. Judging by the interest you have in the wine label, how much do the front and back labels of wines influence your decision to try it if you see an intriguing label? Quite a bit. Actually, the label, oh wow, that's a topic for a long show, isn't it? We can't do that tonight, but the labels do have some influence. They do have some. There's some labels that I do like. In fact, matter of fact, I think I got one over here that I can show you. It's where is it? Maybe I can. Yes, I can. Okay, let's show you this. I don't know if you'd seen this episode, but sometime back last year we did one called the Escarlata. The Escarlata, which is actually sitting behind me at this point. The Escarlata was really, really cool because This was a wine that was purchased at Wine Store, but the folks at Wine Store had a license, a 10-year license to actually use this painting. It's a very famous painting. I to be honest, I can't remember what the painting was from. I think it was from the War of 1812 or something like that. Anyway, the very famous, a very big painting here, and they had a 10-year license to use it on the label on one of their wines. And the wine's actually very good. It's a very good wine, the Esquerlata. This was, I think, the 2018, I think. Yeah. So I have one of these here. We opened it up and we tasted it, and it was a very, very nice wine. I really enjoyed it. I've had a few since then. I don't have any more right now because I drank them all. But there's a very good wine, and I kept the bottle. The bottle's actually behind me here somewhere in this mix. But I was really, really impressed with the label. I think it was this is kind of one of the more impressive labels that I've had, and there have been a few of them. Then I bought the wine. That was a $20 bottle of wine, which is actually pretty good for $20. As Barnstar says, Disney World would certainly be the most entertaining place to ride out a hurricane. Well, it would be. I mean, you can't go ride the rides; they're all locked down. So where we were, it was not the most exciting area, but it was still interesting. Beast on Gaming says, "I love the Disneyland stories." Well, technically Disney World, because Disneyland's still on lockdown in California. Here's the thing: Disney World's open in Florida. Disney World is open. In California, who's the Gavin Newsom, I think. The governor there in California has said no. So Disneyland's completely locked down. They want to open up, but Disneyland's locked down there. So you can go to the park at Disney World. You just can't go in Disneyland. As Marcia says, I know I was just teasing. I'm sure everybody's hunkering down in all seriousness. Yeah, it is pretty serious stuff. But trust me, we've made a lot of jokes about it over the years. It says, I haven't seen that EP, but I'll have to look it up in the show archive. Which episode was it? Oh, the episode. To be honest, I haven't. We've done 87. This is 87, so I don't really remember which episode number it is. I'll have to go look that up and get back to you, to be honest. But it was one of them. It was definitely one of them. Let's check back here. Ed says, Ed's giving a list of, you and I, let's see, Fox and Hound, Pete's Dragon. Oh, you've got a whole list. You remember all of them, Ed, all the Disney films that we saw together when we worked there. Fox and the Hound, Pete's Dragon, Dumbo, and Ichabod and Mr. Toad in the theater that was in the game room on the first floor of the Contemporary. Yeah, I remember that. That's right. See, when we worked at when Ed and I worked at Pete's Dragon, when Ed and I worked at Disney, and they give us free tickets to go see Disney movies, and sometimes there were classic films and they were on re-release, and then sometimes there were new films coming out, and we would kind of be part of the whole guinea pig thing, where test audiences and stuff to go see the films firsthand and things like that. So Ed and I would go see these films. Fox and the Hound, when it first came out. Pete's Dragon, which I actually like Pete's Dragon. It was actually pretty cool. The remake, I didn't even bother to see the remake. It was all CG, and I think I saw a few snippets of it, and right away I was like, I don't want to see this movie. The remake. The original, I don't know, some people thought that the original Pete's Dragon was really cheesy, and I guess it was kind of, but I liked it. It was fun. It was just a fun movie. It was escapism, entertainment. I don't like what Disney's been doing with their films, where they go back and remake everything. Like Jungle Book, one of my all-time favorites, The Jungle Book. The Jungle Book, and they remade this thing to this CG, all talking animals and stuff, and CG stuff, and I saw that. My family and I sat down and saw that, and it was just. They start singing the songs, but they wouldn't even finish the songs. They start into it, and they do a little bit of the singing the songs, and then they just bail on it, or they change it completely, and it just I don't know. I think they ruined the Jungle Book with the CG stuff. The original, I like the original, and maybe just because I'm just from a different generation that grew up with that. But all of that stuff, the original Jungle Book, the original, what else did they do CG on? They remade that. I haven't seen the Lion King one. I don't know. I can't. To be fair, I can't judge that one, But yeah, I mean, yeah, we watched Ichabod and Mr. Toad in the theater. It was in the game room on the first floor of the Contemporary Hotel. Yeah, I remember that. You know what else I did at the Contemporary? Was it the Contemporary? Yeah, it might have been. No, maybe it was in the Royal Plaza on Disney property. It was when the Mouseketeers, the new Mouseketeers, the old new Mouseketeers that came about, the little kids, and I wound up one day entertaining some of those. I think playing pinball with not pinball, but air hockey with some of those. And who knew that some of them would grow up to be? I mean, there were little kids that were unknowns that were like the new Mouseketeers, and they had several iterations of the Mouseketeers. And I'm sitting here playing air hockey with these little kids, and just because I was off work and I didn't have anything to do, I was just hanging out in the game room. These kids playing air hockey with me, and who knew that some of these kids would like grow up to be these next generation stars? Some of them would. And I was like, oh, I'll play air hockey with that kid when he was a kid. I was like, I don't care. Not a big deal. Ed says we saw Ralph Bakshi movies. Yes, we did. We saw Ralph Bakshi movies, which is not Disney. Definitely not Disney. Definitely the opposite of Disney, Ralph Bakshi movies. But yeah, we saw Ralph Bakshi movies. And he says, I just heard Brother Rancid. A few cells of Elliot because he was... cut off on me here. Few cells of Elliot because he was invisible a lot of the time. Yes, there were not very many animation cells of Elliot the dragon because most of the time he was invisible. He didn't show up except for the kid, and that's true. That's true. Anyway, so I'm going along here, and Beast on Gaming says, like I say, you guys are directing this show, not me. Beast on Gaming says they ran out of ideas for good movies, so they just reused some movies. I saw the Lion King reboot, and it is a shot-for-shot remake. There's really nothing new except looking realistic. Is it just me, or is it at some point you kind of go, this is just too realistic? I mean, you want to kind of keep the charm. There is a certain amount of charm and artistic, I don't know, just artistry, I guess the word is, to having those animated shows animated, especially if they're hand-drawn, cel-animated films. And to sit there and make them all too realistic, it gets too real sometimes, and it just kind of ruins the fantasy of it all. That's just me. That's just me talking. But you may have a different take on that. But personally, I think I really think they should stop doing some of that stuff. Aladdin and some of the other stuff that trying to make it too realistic. I think it crosses a line in terms of artistry, and it's like, I think that line is this. I think that line. Here's my rant for the night. Here's my line: is it crosses a line from artistry into just greed. To money, because it's all about money. It's not about the film anymore. It's not about the artistry anymore. It's not about the artistic integrity of it. It's about what'll get people into the theater to watch this film. It's all about the money. It's not about the making the film for the sake of the film anymore. It isn't, and it hasn't been for a long time. But Disney. I think Disney is a huge sellout. They've really sold out big time. They've sold out with Star Wars. They've sold out with a lot of other stuff. And don't get me started on that, but they're selling out on their own stuff. I mean, look at all the classics they've done, and they go out and remake these classics. And in my opinion, my personal opinion, they've ruined them. They've completely ruined the memories, the great memories that I had as a kid of all the classics, they've ruined them with all the CG stuff, all the CG crap, if you might say. I mean, yeah, they look impressive in some ways, but it's crap. Okay, that's my opinion. That's just my opinion. Tom Antio says, yeah, the Disney remakes are pretty shallow imitations. Yeah. It's Barnstar says, you're right. Disney found that it's an easy way to make a buck. And that's true. Scott Scott MTHW is in the chat. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. He says, what sort of wines do you get into and stuff? Like King of the Hill. Well, we could go on and on about that. I would suggest, Scott, I'm glad you're here, by the way, but I would suggest going back and look at some of the previous episodes because I cover a lot of that in previous episodes. I will be covering it again in future episodes. I want to do a whole episode, and you got to help me out with this one. I want to do an episode where we're talking about sci-fi films and stuff because that's a big one for me. I love sci-fi series and films and stuff, but I'm not going into that tonight. As Barnstar says, ha ha ha, you're getting me riled up now too, Rick. You know what? You're not the only one. I'm pretty sure I'm getting Ed riled up on this too. Ed says, Aladdin had some charm. Live Will Smith didn't try to be Robin Williams. That's true. And I know because he couldn't. I mean, nobody can touch Robin Williams in that respect. But Will Smith did his own thing, and I think he's done, I have a lot of respect for Will Smith's work. I think he's done some great stuff. Different actor, different style, different things. I like them both for different reasons. I like Robin Williams and Will Smith for different reasons and their styles in different ways. I think one should not try to be the other. It's like Columbo. Who can be Columbo? Everybody talks about, who could replace Columbo? Columbo, one of the greatest detectives of all time. I love Columbo. My whole family does. But, you think, okay, who could do Columbo, if you did a Columbo remake? Don't do any more reboots. Please, no more reboots. I think reboots ruin the original. It happened with a lot of shows. Hawaii Five-O. The reboot totally ruined the original. I can't watch another Tom Cruise. I have a tough time watching another Tom Cruise movie anyway, but I can't watch another Tom Cruise Mission Impossible film because I love Mission Impossible, the TV show, and Tom Cruise single-handedly totally ruined that franchise. He really did. But I'm going off. I'm going on the tangent again. Here we go. A lot of reboots look what happened to Lost in Space. I loved Lost in Space when I was a kid. They did the movie reboot, and they did this series. I think Netflix was it that did this. I think it only lasted a season. They did this reboot of Lost in Space. I saw the first episode, and I had to turn it off because I thought, this is not Lost in Space. I don't know what this is, but it's not Lost in Space. It's ridiculous. But that's just me. Maybe I'm just too old. I don't know. Scott MTHW says, I wish you'd do an episode drinking bum wine like MD 2020, Cisco Night Train, or Thunderbird. A lot of people have asked me that. That's a lot of people asked me that, including I think my sister has asked me that before too. I said that would be a fun thing to do. I'm not going to do it tonight. I can tell you that. Okay, let me tell you something before I go. Give you my final review, and we have to go. Here's what happened. So I took my son Tom. We took our son Tommy up to Boone for his last few sessions at WASU Radio, and we just got back. We were there for 2.5 days. We had to drive up there and drive back from Boone back here. We just got back today. We just got back this afternoon. So I've been driving. I've been on the road, yes, since this afternoon. We just got back. So it's been a long day. It's been several days, but it's been a long day today. So I was going to try to make this a short session because of issues with Facebook in the beginning. I really couldn't. But we're going to have to wrap it up now because normally what I do, and this is what I, just to give you a little behind the scenes of what I do here, when I finish every episode of the Wine Stream, here, the Saturday Night Wine Stream, and I start immediately to prepare the podcast version that goes out Monday nights at 10. The podcast version of the show, which is basically, sometimes I do some editing, sometimes not. Depends on the show. This show, I'm going to have to do a lot of editing, so I'm not even going to bother with it until tomorrow morning. But usually, as soon as this show is done, as soon as I stop streaming, I wind up, what I do is I take the recording that I'm recording on now, which I'm not recording because I didn't start recording. Never did that. Look at that. There's another screw up for tonight. Didn't start recording. But at least I have a Facebook recording. Or no, I don't even have that. I've got the YouTube recording. Good. At least I have that. Don't even have the recording here tonight. So I do, what I do is I take the recording and I make an MP3, or I actually make a wave out of it, and then I edit that to do the final podcast version. And then I'll do that right after this show is done. So I'll be up. When I'm done here, I'm not done. As soon as I stop streaming here, I go ahead and take the recording and I prep the show up so that I can have the podcast version of it. And that takes me up till about 2 in the morning, basically. And so I usually don't go to bed until 2 or 3 in the morning after I'm done with this, if I'm lucky. I have gone as late as 4. Just so I can get the show up for Monday. So that's, my night's not over yet. So I'm going to have to cut it out for now. Anyway, I just want to let you know about that because you're part of the show. You're part of the whole experience. It's Barnstar says, with all these reboots of classic films, live and animated, make the originals obsolete in a sense for current and future generations. And it says, oh, wow, you were on the road today. Kudos to you, sir, for doing the episode as scheduled, though I missed controversial first 30 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to cut out a lot of that in the final version. It's nothing to see here, folks. It really isn't. But I'm really glad you're here, and I'm really glad that all those who stuck it out here could stick it out. And you know what? I want to give a special thanks to my good friend Ed, who has been a good and loyal friend for many years. I want to give a thanks out to him, who alerted me to the fact that it wasn't on Facebook in the very beginning, which is why I had to restart it on Facebook because it wasn't running on Facebook. Only for me, not for anyone else. So, Ed, I want to thank you for that, my friend. That you saved my bacon again. You saved my bacon again on that. Ed says, please no remake of Forbidden Planet. It was done right the first time. No, please, no. Yeah, actually. They might. You better not say that too loud because they might. They might be doing that now for all I know. Who knows? A remake of Forbidden Planet. No, we don't need that. I mean, nobody can top Leslie Nielsen in Forbidden Planet. Straight roll, but nobody can top that. A very classic film with Walter Pidgeon and Leslie Nielsen, all that. Robbie the Robot, classic stuff. Anyway, so I want to thank everybody for being here with me tonight. I really do have to go. I'm going to have to get some sleep and fix all these errors that have to be fixed tonight for this show. I want to thank everyone for joining me. I want to thank Ed, first of all, for being there for me, as you always are. My good friend Ed, my sister Gina, and everyone else who joined me on Facebook, when you could get to Facebook to join me, when I actually showed up on Facebook. And, of course, my friends on Twitch, Captain Sweece1, that Square guy, Beast on Gaming, Tommy Antio, it's Barnstar. I want to thank all of you for being here with me. I know I didn't. Scott, thank you for being here with me on the chat tonight. I do appreciate each and every one of you. I want to say that once again, the show is not about me. It's about the wine, but it's mostly about you and me. and I'm glad you're here with me. I want to remind everyone, please have a great week. Please have a safe week. Do not drink and drive. Please, whatever you do, drink in the comfort of your home, your apartment, your studio, your hotel room, wherever you are. Call a Lyft or Uber if you have to. Please do not drink and drive. Don't text and drive either. We had an issue going up the mountain there. We had somebody passing us, and he was driving a little erratically, and when I finally passed him, and then he passed me again doing 90, it turns out he was actually on his cell phone looking over his, I don't know what he was looking at, but it was looking over messages and stuff on his cell phone. Extremely dangerous stuff. Please do not text and drive, because I want you to have a great week, but most of all, I want you to have a safe week. So you can all join me here again next week, and we can all get together on the Saturday Night Wine Stream and drink with Rick. Good night.